what has happened is that countries in particular really tried to sort of stimulate and encourage their economic growth in the first half of this year. And so countries such as China in particular really went rather aggressively into economic development and industrial production. And what we saw was an increase in coal consumption during the first half of this year. Now, most utilities and most steel mills in particular, they tend to sort of match their demand for coal on an annual basis or a quarterly basis. So they know exactly what they need. So if they go through those coal stocks a little bit faster than they anticipated, then they end up being caught short. And I believe that this is the situation that we're currently seeing in the market.
Right. How is the situation remedied, particularly over the short term? Obviously, longer term, you'll see some of that production come back online. But of course, in the short term, we are dealing with this power crunch in China, and it is seemingly impacting a lot of industry and having a flow-on effect through the global economy as well. How's it rectified?
Yeah, it really is a situation where, because of the pandemic, a lot of coal producers, both in the metallurgical coal and thermal coal space, they really pulled back their production last year in order to better match their production to demand expectations. So in the situation where we have had more coal consumption in China and India, in Europe, in other countries than maybe the market expected, then they ended up being caught short. And so with the lack of spot coal supply in particular, that means that these utilities, these steel mills have had to sort of pay additional premiums or prices for these types of coal. So because of that, so that has in turn ended up sort of seeing coal prices spike. And so producers have been unable to actually respond to this because they continue to match production to their longer term customers. So there needs to be some sort of either supply response or demand will need to start to pull back in order to rebalance the market.
Right. Do we then start to talk about seeing a shift in the types of energy consumption and a move, of course, onto renewables, for instance, to try and, I guess, counter the situation that we've seen when it's come to this coal crunch?
Yeah, so in places such as China, for example, part of the reason why there is this apparent coal supply crunch and power crisis is due to underperforming renewables, especially in the northeastern provinces. If we switch to Europe, for example, you have a record high gas prices, carbon prices, and also power prices, and that in turn has sort of pulled coal prices higher as well. So at the moment, renewable generation capacity has increased globally. However, the actual generation has not, and so for a number of different reasons. So therefore, the thermal gap, what we say, either coal or gas generation, has had to come in, and that has exaggerated the demand for coal and gas in particular.